Guys, what we are discussing today, the disk partitions. I think you know, right? You joined from disk partitions, huh? Abdul?
I think this is the last class. This will be the last class for me in this batch. So after this, I have joined the new batch.
Okay, okay, oh, no worries, no worries. So, what about you? You already there in the that OS installation, right? That package management. You joined from package management or cloud computing on that batch, Abdul. So, what is that? Disk partitions. So, what is disk partitions, guys?
To segregate the data, sir?
So, where you installed the OS? CentOS 7, CentOS 9.
C drive, sir.
Sorry,
C drive, sir.
C drive is nothing but a
Disk.
so right, disk. So where you installed your CentOS 7 disk. So you selected 20 GB, right? While installing the OS. So while installing the OS, you see the storage. You selected 20 GB, right? I think this is the. So this is the 20 GB for installing the CentOS 7. So this is the storage. This storage comes from C users HP. So C users HP VirtualBox CentOS 7. So this C is nothing but a space, right? The hard disk. The hard disk D drive, C drive. The hard disk will be divided into partitions and created a partitions like C drive and D drive. The same like so where you installed? You installed 20 GB. You took the 20 GB hard disk space and installed the CentOS 7. Okay. And in the Linux file system hierarchy, file system. So in the Linux file system hierarchy, okay. So which directory is for storing the devices? The hard disk information will be available under a which directory?
/dev, sir.
Very good. /dev. So it will be showing the hard disk info. Hard disk info, right? Mm, SATA hard disk. Guys, what it is? Guys, what it is?
Hard disk.
Hard disk. So hard disk is nothing but it's a storage device. What it is? It's a storage device. So in our virtual box, how many hard disks are there? So in our virtual box, only one hard disk, right? SATA hard disk 20 GB. So right, SATA hard disk 20 GB and Dell Power Edge R710. Dell Power Edge R710. Yeah, what this is, guys? This is a, you see, right? How many hard disk we can insert? We can insert the 6 hard disk in this server. How many hard disks? six hard disk in this server. Yeah. So how many we have? A 4, right? For example, 4 hard disks we have inserted. So these are the hard disks. This is the hard disk. This is also hard disk. This is also hard disk. This is also hard disk. So we inserted, for example, 4 hard disks. So, okay. So how many hard disks are there in our server, guys? Guys, speak out.
One.
6 hard disks.
Very good. So how many? 6 hard disks are there? 710, right? So Dell PowerEdge 710. So the hard disk. So what these are? These are SATA disk. SATA. Guys, speak out. What is that? SATA disk. SATA disk. SATA disk. So how many SATA disks we have?
6.
We have 4 SATA disk. So SATA disk 1, for example, this is the SATA disk 1. This is the SATA disk 2. This is the SATA disk 3. This is SATA disk 4. So how many hard disks we have? So we have SATA disk 1, 2, 3, 4. So that SATA disk information will be available under which device, guys? Which directory? The disk information will be available under the which directory?
/dev directory, sir.
Yeah, /dev. So what this is? This hard disk is SATA disk. SD is nothing but a SATA disk. So SDA 1 is nothing but a SDA. 2 is nothing but a SDB. 3 is nothing but a SD. Guys, tell me, 3 is nothing but a SDC. 4 is nothing but a /dev SDD. Now you understood? The naming convention should be, what is the naming convention, guys? The naming convention of the SATA disk 1 is SDA. What is that? SDA. The SATA disk 2 is nothing but a SDB. So 3 is nothing but SDC. 4 is nothing but SDD. Right, guys? SATA disk A, B, C, D. So how many hard disks we have? So physical hard disk is nothing but A. 1 is nothing but A. B is nothing. 2 is nothing but a B. 3 is nothing but a C. 4 is nothing but a D. Guys, now you understood? Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
SS.
Yes, right?
Yes, sir.
Akka. One second, guys. Okay, Dell PowerEdge. So how many hard disks do we have? 4 hard disks. The naming convention is /dev SDA /dev SDB /dev SDC /dev SDD /dev SDD. So for example in Windows. So for example in Windows of 500 GB, right? For example 500 GB. So 500 GB is divided into 2 partitions. 500 GB divided into 2 partitions. What are those? Something like you created a 250 partition and 250 partition. So one is 250 and the other one is 250. You attached to C50 so first 250 GB space to which directory? C directory. Directory is nothing but a C drive. Drive is nothing but a C folder only. Okay. And another 250 is attached to, guys, which drive? D drive. Drive is nothing but a folder, for example. So in 500 GB you created a 2 partitions. So one is C folder and the other 250 is D folder. The same like as a, the same like as a in Linux also. In Linux also, so we will attach the, we will attach the space to a directory. We will attach the space to a directory. So which directory? For example, anything. I created a two directories. One is something like a applogs. The other one is dblx. So what is that? I created a two directories. I created a two directories and I want to attach the space. For example, /sda is for installing the OS. What is that? /dev SDA is for installing the OS. I attached another hard disk /dev SDB. So for example, yeah. So the space, for example, I need a 250 GB per this directory, applogs directory. I need a 250 directory, 250 GB for dblogs. So I took the 500 GB. I took the 500 GB and I created a 250 GB. So what is that? /dev SDB. SDB is the disk. So I will create two partitions, SDB1 and /dev SDB2. Now understood. So I attached the space SDB1 to applogs and SDB2 to dblogs. So now you understood, guys. Whatever the storage is, right? The storage will be attached to the directory is nothing but a mounting. So attached to the directory is nothing but a mounting. Guys, understood? So attached to a directory is nothing but a mounting, right? And while while buying the hard disk, right? While buying the hard disk, if you buy the hard disk, the format, it comes from file system type format is null. What is the types of what is the file system format? Null format. So so in Windows, so in Windows knows which format? NTFS. Windows knows NTFS format. Guys, Windows knows which format, guys? Guys, pick out.
NTFS.
So when you buy the hard disk, right? So by default, which format it comes? So the file system format is null format. By default, if you buy the new hard disk, but Windows is using NTFS, the same like as a Linux is using ext2, ext3, ext4, XFS. So right, so from CentOS, this is CentOS 2, CentOS 3, CentOS 4, CentOS 5 onwards, CentOS 5, 6. So we can use CentOS 5, 6. We can use ext4, and CentOS 7 onwards. 7 onwards, we are using XFS file system. So Windows is using NTFS. NTFS is NTFS is nothing but a network tile network. So network protocol, network time protocol. Yeah, NTFS is nothing but a new technology file system. What is it, guys? Look. So NTFS is nothing but a, if you want to use this hard disk, for example, these hard disks are made by some other companies or something like a ScanDisk, WD, or something like Samsung. These companies are created hard disk. But while creating the hard disk, they provided a which format? Null format. Because of Windows using NTFS, so Linux using ext or XFS, or some other Unix, Mac, Unix using some other file system, and Mac using some other file system, right? If the hard disk is preparing for only for Linux, right, that hard disk will buy only for the Linux systems, right? So that's the reason. So while making the hard disk, right? While making the hard disk, they created a file system called as a null file system. For example, if you want to use this hard disk in the Linux machine, we need to convert from null to ext4 or extf or xfs. If you want to use that hard disk from null use in the Windows operating system, you can format this null to ntfs or something like Windows or something like different. That's the reason by default what they are providing, they are providing null format. Null format, guys. Hard disk space, so hard disk space is attached to directory. Hard disk space is attached to the directory. Guys, understood? Yeah. So how we can mount this? First, how we can format this hard disk and how you can create the partitions. So one, two, and so how we can mount this space, how we can mount this partitions. So how we can convert it from null to ext2 or ext3 or xfs, right? Right. What are the three options? First, we need to partitions, right? Second one is conversion. What is that? Conversion. Third one is mounting. Yes, understood. So partitions, conversions, and mounting. So how we can convert from null to ext4 or xfs by using command, guys, mkfs.ext4. So which space, something like a slash dev sdb1. So we are converting. So we are converting from null to ext4. So converting from null to ext4.
Sir,
Sindhu, tell me.
sir, is ext1, ext2, ext3, ext4, and XFS is a file system format, sir?
So
Okay.
Linux knows only these formats. Linux knows only these formats.
Like .txt, .csv, like that, sir?
So that is extension.
Okay, sir.
So if you want to install a software, so that is .exe, right? So that is the installation format. So this is the Linux hard disk. Hard disk, if you want to use the hard disk space, so that by default it is a null format, right, Sindhu? By default it is a null format. Okay, understood? So Linux knows only XFS, ext2, XFS format, the hard disk format. So if you want to store any data on the Linux CentOS 7 server, so right, that CentOS 7 server is, I will show you. The Linux, the CentOS Linux server knows only the hard disk format ext4 or xfs. If you want to use that hard disk, definitely we know the format of ext2 or xfs. Okay, so if you want to use the hard disk space in the, if you want to use that hard disk space in Windows, definitely we need to know we need to use the ntfs format. So right, so if you want to use this hard disk space in the Linux machine. So Linux knows which format, Sindhu?
ext2, ext3, XFS, ext4
Yeah.
format, sir.
So the Linux format, this if you want to use this space, definitely we need to convert this format from file system. This is the file system format from null to ext2 or ext3. So if you want to use this in the Windows machine, we need to convert from null to NTFS. Null to NTFS. Understood?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now you understood the conversion. Convert from null to ext2 or ext3. How you can convert? You can convert by using mkfs dot ext4 or mkfs dot xfs or mkfs dot ext2 or mkfs dot ext3, right? So that so which one we need to convert? We need to convert the hard disk space. Hard disk space is available in the which disk space? The disk space is /dev sdb1, the disk partition. Okay, yeah, partition. So how you can create a partition? You can create a partition by using the fdisk. What is the command, guys? Fdisk. Fdisk is nothing but a fdisk is nothing but a format disk. Fdisk is nothing but a format disk. If you want to format disk, right? So if you want to format the hard disk, definitely we need to use the disk. So we can convert the partitions. So we can convert the partitions from 500 to 251 and 252. So SDB1 and SDB2, right? How you can convert? How you can create the partitions? You can create the partition by using fdisk commands. Mounting. So how you can mount? You can mount by using two types. One is temporary mount, permanent mount. So temporary mount and so permanent mount. So what is temporary mount? What is permanent mount? While running the OS. What is that? While running the OS. If you mount, right? If you mount the storage to a directory is nothing but temporary mount. Guys, understood? So while running the OS, if you mount the mount point, if you mount the storage, if you mount the storage to a directory, is nothing but a temporary mount. So if you reboot the mount, if you reboot the server, right, the mount point will erase. The mount point will unmount while rebooting the server. So I want a permanent mount. So if system reboot, if system is rebooted, so we need to mount it again. We need to mount it again. So that purpose we can add it in the /etc fstab file. So if you want to mount as a permanent mount, so we can add the info in the /etc fstab. So /etc fstab. Guys, understood? Sindhu, understood? Hitesh, Sindhu, Maresh, Abdul,
Yes, yes, yes.
Sindhu.
Uh, uh, I mean, what is the, I mean, what is the command for temporary mount, sir?
So the temporary mount, I will tell you. Just you guys remember partitions and conversions and mounting.
ETC FS tab is for permanent mounting, sir.
We need to provide the information in the /etfs tab. So that is a permanent mount. So if you use the, yeah, I will tell you. Mount command, mount /dev right /dev yeah. So we want to mount as a temporary mount. So what is the mount command? What is the command? /mount sdb1 slash, what is the directory, guys? App logs. So app logs, now app logs contains the app logs directory contains how much GB? 250 GB. So 250 GB. Guys, understood? This is nothing but a temporary mount. What this is? This is a temporary mount. So slash dev sdb2 slash dba logs. So this is also contains 250 GB. Guys, understood? Mount slash dev sdb1. This sdb1 storage is mounted to which directory? App logs. So this slash dev sdb2 mounted to which directory? For example, for example, your application is deployed as a Facebook application or WhatsApp application. So that logs, app logs is nothing but whenever the end user log into the server, from login to log out. So it will be writing a log. That log will be written under the which directory? App logs directory. So for example, every day it logs, it writes 20 GB file. So right, 250 GB we have. So how many days it will sustain? Every day 20 GB. 10 days, 12.5 days. After 12.5 days, we need to add another date, another space, or we need to delete some logs, right? So while installing the OS, how much GB of storage we took to installing the OS, guys? How much? How much? 20 GB. So 20 GB of storage. So we took for installing the CentOS 7 OS, right? In that SDA contains 20 GB. We cannot store the application logs in the slash dev SDA. Slash dev SDA having only 20 GB, right? So we created another hard disk. That hard disk having something like 500 GB and 500 GB, not 500 GB. So we need a 250 GB 250 space, 250 GB space to a directory. So you can create a two partitions, and you can add that add that storage into that directory, add that directory into the storage. Yes, understood? So this is nothing but a disk partitions. Disk partitions. Understood? So it will be showing the hard disk info. The hard disk information will be available under the slash dev. What is DF, guys? If you want to see the disk information. Hard disk information. So hard disk information. So what is the command, guys? DF. DF is nothing but a disk free.
What
So
about DU?
yeah, I will tell you. So if you want to see the directory directory info, or something like a directory info, so if you want to see the directory size, if you want to see the directory size, so we can use du is nothing but a disk usage. Disk usage under the something like, if you want to see the disk usage under the slash, so all the directories, so all the directories will show, and whatever the size of the directory, whatever the size of the directory, we will show it on the du. Du is nothing but a disk usage. Df is nothing but a disk free. Df is nothing but a disk free. I will show you guys. What is that? Root red hat IPA 116. What is it, Ish? Guys, guys, are you audible? My voice? Something like, are you able to?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
right? 116. Putty 192.168.56.112. My IP address is 112 116.
116, sir.
Yes, 192.168.56.116. Change settings, appearance, change, bold, 16, root, red hat. So how you can check the disk information? So the hard disk information. So what is the command, guys? df-ht. So df is nothing but a disk free, guys. Yeah, guys, just you see df-h, so it will show the something like the size, so used, available, usage, mount point. But df-ht, so you see the type, the difference is type, which type of the file system. So SDA1, SDA, yeah, this is SDA1, this is SDA2. So this is SDA1, this is SDA2. Which directory? Why it is mounting? One second, guys. You mount -f /dev sdb sdb2 df-ht. So right, you see, guys. So this is the SDA1. One second. So something like you added a new hard disk. How do you check the hard disk information? lsblk. What is the command, guys? lsblk. lsblk is nothing but a list of block devices. LSBLK is nothing but a list of okay. So SDA, SDB. So how many hard disks we attached in this server, guys? So in this server, how many hard disks attached? Two hard disks are attached. One is 20 GB, another one is 10 GB, right? How many we have? So we have two hard disks. So the two hard disks will be partitions via SDA1, SDA2. These also partition SDB1, SDB2, right? You see, is this hard disk is attached to any directory? No. Partitions created but not attached to any directory. But this SDA created a partition and attached it to the directories. This is the /boot. /boot is the directory and slash is the directory. SDA having two partitions. One is slash and another partition is swap. This slash contains the how much GB? 17 GB. Slash contains the 17 GB. This slash, this directory is attached to the hard disk. Very simple, guys. So the hard disk space is attached to the directory. The hard disk space is attached to the directory. Guys, understood? Yeah. So du-sh, right? Now you understood the df. So how many hard disks are available in this server? How do you know? By using lsblk command. What is the command, guys? lsblk is nothing but a to list of block devices. What is the block devices? These are the block devices. This is the hard disk 1, hard disk 2, hard disk 3, hard disk 4. This block hard disk information will be available under which directory? /dev. So how many hard disks are attached to this server? How do you know? By using lsblk. What is the command, guys? lsblk. How many servers are? How many hard disks are attached to this server? How many hard disks are attached to this server? Guys, understood? One second, guys. F disk /dev sdb m is d is nothing but a delete the partition d w ls lsblk. Mm, okay, init 0. I want to remove that one, guys. Yeah, now I'm able to remove this 10 GB, right? Remove the attachment. Oh. Okay. Now I deleted the, so as of now I have a 2 hard disks are present in my server. So I want to delete one hard disk. I deleted the hard disk. Now let's see how many devices are attached to this server. Duplicate session or restart session. Stuck. I'm attaching the same hard disk. Understood, guys. The issue is nothing but so whatever the mount point, right? The mount point is the mount point is added in the permanent mount point. Some slash it is a step. So that's the reason I am unable to Start the Linux because of the mount point is attached in the permanent mount. Delete and write. So we want to go to the rescue mode, right? No. Yeah, for the troubleshooting purpose, guys, we need to go to the which mode? Rescue mode. For example, if you forgot the root password, if we want to change the root password, definitely we need to go to the rescue mode. Auto capture keyboard is okay. Now I'm pressing E. Then go to the line number 16. Number 16 on the end. What is that? RD dot break. RD dot break. Okay. Control X. Mount -o remote slash shooter. VA slash etc first tab empty. CD slash etc ls to change the FS tab file in maintenance mode. Chroot sysroot.
Sir, pass WD root.
So root password change, right?
Now you have to change it to like pass WD root.
No. I want to change the file va slash etc FS tab file. Touch auto reliable. Why touch? You have restore password down. Don't need a exit. Exit. root Red Hat. Yeah, I'm able to log in, right? IPA 16 only. So why it is not up, guys? Because of in the permanent, I will show you. I will show you. Restart the session. Duplicate session. Root Red Hat. Okay. Yeah. So why I am unable to start the server? Because of the entries. The mount point entries will be fs tab. Yeah. You see, guys. So I attached the I added the mount point entries in the which tab, guys? /etc fs tab. But I deleted this /dev. I deleted the /dev sdb. So I deleted the mount points, right? I deleted the partition /dev sdb1. I deleted /dev sdb2 deleted. But the /etc fs tab /etc fs tab in the tab file system entry in the file system, the file systems are still. Yeah, you see these two file systems are still in the fs tab entry. But so one I commented, one I did not commented. So the did not commented, right? While booting time, it is checking. It is checking and mounting the mount point app logs. But the storage is that the hard disk space, hard disk partition is not available. That's the reason. So this is still trying to mount the app logs, trying to mount the app logs. So that's the reason still server is not booted. The still server is not booted, right? So I want to troubleshoot. I want to troubleshoot this issue. How you can troubleshoot it? From thing like you need to go to the rescue mode and uncomment and sorry and comment the line which is which is having which is having mount. So right, so that is the reason we commented that, then we rebooted. It's automatically rebooted, guys. Now you understood? Yeah. Yep, right. Something like lsblk. How many hard disks we have, guys? Only two hard disks. So one is sda and one is sdb. For example, I'm removing this hard disk also. Yeah. So now go to the settings, storage. This is the one, right? I'm remove attachment. Okay. So now I want to attach another storage. So you see, so here add optical drive, then add a hard disk drive. So I want to create a hard disk drive called as a 10 GB or something like 15 GB. Finish. So you need to choose. Yeah. Now this is a 15 GB hard disk. I'm adding another hard disk. Another hard disk. So only one hard disk is attached. Now I attach it to the second hard disk. Which is 15 GB. The second hard disk name is, what is the name? You want to start, right? Yep, started. Okay, now let's check the hard disk is added or not. Restart the session, root, Red Hat. Okay, LSBLK. So how you can check it, guys? The hard disk information. The hard disk information will be checked under the which directory, guys? LSBLK command. What is the command? LSBLK is nothing but a list of block devices. So how many hard disk attached? So SDA1 and SDB. SDA1 contains the 20 GB. This is only for installing the OS. This is only for installing the OS. So how many partitions created? So two partitions created. One is SDA1 and other one is SDA2. So a newly attached hard disk is 15 GB. So in this hard disk doesn't have the partitions, doesn't created the partitions. Now I want to create a two partitions 7.5 GB partitions for app logs and DBA logs. So how you can create it? How you can create it? We'll show you tomorrow, guys. Okay, understood? Disk partitions. Sindhu, Abdul, guys, understood? Sindhu, you there?
Yes, sir. Here only, sir.
Yeah, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Little bit, huh?
I think
So you can, yeah.
when we see the practical tomorrow, we'll have a proper idea
Yes,
more.
yes,
Like,
yes, 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 guys. So once we do the practical, you will get a more clarity. Sindhu, I think
I'll do
so. Yeah,
practice.
yes, 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 yes. Thanks, thank you so much, guys. We'll continue from tomorrow. Abdul,
yes.
yeah, you can join to the other meeting.
Okay, sir.
Yep, thanks.